I have opened wide the possibility that Trump was using anti-Semitic language here, right? I mean, I've explicitly acknowledged two ways in which this could be interpreted that were anti-Semitic and one way in which it would not be. And my inclination is that Trump is an ignoramus because that's always my inclination. I don't think Trump is a Jew hater in the way that Omar and Tlaib are, as evidenced by the fact he's not calling for the destruction of the state of Israel. He's not suggesting that the only support for the state of Israel in America is due to Jewish money, that it's all about the Benjamins. Right? This president may engage in root stereotyping, and he does this on a regular basis with a variety of groups, and it's ugly and it's wrong. But my inclination is that that's because the president is not up on the political jargon. And this is not me letting him off the hook for any of this, but what do you think rings more true? That Trump hates Jews in the way that Omar and Tlaib obviously do? Or that President Trump is just an ignoramus who doesn't know how to use the English language, which seems to ring true in a variety of ways. Because that's what he is. The media have jumped all over Trump over these comments. And again, I think criticism of Trump over the comments is due. I think that the comments are easily read in a way that is not the proper way to talk about religious or philosophic Judaism. Right? I myself have talked about bad Jews before. And what I mean by bad Jews is Jews who invoke Judaism, as I mentioned, like J Street or Jewish Voice for Peace, cynically and in an attempt to use Judaism as a substitute for progressive values that run directly counter to Judaism. I don't mean Jews who don't practice Judaism. There are lots of Jews who don't practice Judaism. Many members of my family are Jews who don't particularly practice Judaism. That is their choice. Okay, what makes somebody a bad Jew, in my view, is somebody who is using the tenets of Judaism cynically and overtly in order to undermine a lot of Jewish tenets, which you do see this. Okay, but that is a discussion within philosophic Judaism. That is not a discussion within ethnic Judaism. Okay, with all of that said, it is unbelievable that the members of the media are jumping all over this. Why? Because the members of the media have spent the last several weeks blatantly ignoring Omar and Tlaib trying to tour Israel with a group that pushed the blood libel, that pushed the idea that Jews drink Christian blood on Passover, and with a group that was quoting from neo-Nazi websites. The same media, those real intrepid firefighters in our media, who are focused in like a laser beam on Donald Trump today, don't give a damn when it's anti-Semitism from the other side. And I've been complaining about this for years at this point. The New York Times has openly admitted that they have not been reporting on local anti-Semitic crime because it doesn't fall into the category of white supremacist crime. In other words, they only care about anti-Semitism when it's time to use anti-Semitism as a charge against a Republican or against a conservative or against people who they can associate with Republicans or conservatives, right? When they can try and tie together white supremacists and Trump, then they're worried about anti-Semitism. But when it comes from Omar and Tlaib, then no, this is just the Jews. Those crafty Jews. You know, they're always trying to infiltrate the media and push their censorship, trying to silence people of color. Pretty incredible. You're not fighting anti-Semitism unless you're calling it out on all sides. You're not fighting anti-Semitism unless you are willing to call it out when you see it. I've called it out when I see it from President Trump. I've called it out when I see it from people on the right. I've called it out when I see it from people on the left. But I'm not going to take it under advisement when commentators for Al Jazeera, who spend their lives defending the anti-Semitism of Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, are out there doing this routine. Oh, woe is them. Yes, I am sure that the same Democrats who are deeply defending Omar and Tlaib today, I'm sure that the same Democrats who refuse to condemn Ilhan Omar's statements, refuse to censor her, and instead passed a resolution against hate more broadly, I'm sure that they are very disturbed by anti-Semitism today, guys. I am super certain that they are really disturbed by that sort of thing. In fact, I am sure that Democrats are incredibly disturbed whenever anybody suggests that a group owes their loyalty to a politician. If anybody, any politician would suggest that a group owes, a specific racial group owes their loyalty to a politician or owes their loyalty to a set of causes on the basis of race, I'm sure that the media would be just as upset. Like, let's say, just for the sake of argument, that Barack Obama back in 2016 did exactly, I'm sure everyone would have gone nuts, right? Obama never would have done something like that, ever. Yeah.
There's no such thing as a vote that doesn't matter. It all matters. And after we have achieved historic turnout in 2008 and 2012, especially in the African American community, I will consider it a personal insult, an insult to my legacy, if this community lets down its guard and fails to activate itself in this election. You want to give me a good send-off? Go vote!
It's an act of personal disloyalty. An act of personal disloyalty, undermining Barack Obama's personal legacy if black voters don't show up to vote for Hillary Clinton. Weird. It seems like he's accusing them of disloyalty if they don't do what he wants on the basis of their race. Very strange. Very strange. I remember when the media went Nope, not at all. In other words, it seems as though two things can be true at once. Trump can say a bad thing. Trump can say an ignorant thing. Trump can say a crazy thing about King of the Jews and second coming of God and all of this kind of stuff. Trump can do all of that stuff. And also, the media can be sheer garbage, and I don't trust them to call out anti-Semitism because they don't do it. Thank you for tuning in to The Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the country. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of our content.